Welcome to This Explainer. Today, I'm stepping in as your tactical coach because we are about to pull off an absolute exam heist. We're going to completely hack the way you approach your GCSE English paper. And you know what? We're shattering the dangerous yet incredibly common illusion that you just have to complete a test in chronological order. If you've ever walked out of an exam hall feeling like the clock defeated you rather than the actual questions, you are in exactly the right place. So let's dive right in. What is the absolute most expensive mistake you can make the exact second that exam clock starts ticking? Well, it's a massive trap that so many students fall into. You open the paper, you see question 1, and you just begin. It feels natural, right? It's how we've been taught to read books, watch movies, and take tests our entire lives. But falling into that chronological trap, it's a game changer, and not in a good way. The absolute biggest mistake you can make is starting at question 1. You spend your freshest energy chasing a measly 4 marks, and then eventually panic sets in because you run out of time for question 5. Look at this breakdown. Question 5 is worth a massive 40 marks. That is a full 25% of your entire English language grade and half of this specific paper. If you run out of time here, your grade instantly plummets, literally no matter how perfectly you answer the first few questions. To fix this, we need an entirely new approach. Here is your tactical playbook. We'll start with the ultimate exam mistake. Then, step 1, securing 40 marks. After that, step 2 is the warm-up. Step 3 covers high-value reading. And finally, step 4 is the final sprint. All right, let's get into part 1, the ultimate exam mistake. We really need to rewire how we look at this paper. Notice the stark contrast here. On the standard order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you are literally just draining your clock on low-value tasks before you even reach the main event. But our tactical priority order? We're going 5, 2, 4, 3, and then 1. We're intentionally front-loading the most valuable questions. It's all about maximizing the return on investment for your time. Which brings us to section 2. Step 1, secure 40 marks. We are jumping straight into the deep end here. You absolutely must secure these 40 marks first. You have to treat them as the single most important asset you have in that exam hall. Don't read the source text, don't even look at the other questions. You're going to put blinders on and go straight to the creative writing section. The literal second the exam begins, you skip straight to this 40-mark writing task. The very first thing you physically do is look at the clock, calculate exactly 45 minutes ahead, and write that strict deadline in huge numbers right at the top of your paper. Say the exam starts at 9 a.m. You write 9:45. Everything before that time belongs exclusively to question 5. So, how do you actually spend those 45 minutes? First off, take 5 to 10 minutes just to plan. I know, it feels like a total waste of time when the clock is ticking, but trust me, planning is what separates the average grades from the top tier. It gives your narrative total clarity. Then, write for 35 to 40 minutes. You're getting 24 marks for content and organization and 16 marks for technical accuracy like spelling and grammar. Finally, and this is the hardest part for sure, when your deadline hits, finish your sentence, take 1 quick minute to check your spelling, and stop immediately. Just move on. Okay, moving on to section 3, step 2, the warm-up. All right, your 40-mark golden goose is perfectly safe. Now, it's time to pivot. Take exactly 10 minutes to actively read the extract, jot down some quick notes on what's happening, and then tackle question 2. It's worth 8 marks, making it the perfect tactical warm-up. Some teachers might tell you to use question 1 to warm up, but like we've said, we don't do warm-ups for a measly 4 marks when your whole grade is on the line. But now that the 40-mark beast is slain, question 2 is the exact right size to build your confidence without burning too much precious time. This is a really focused language analysis on a very specific short part of the text. It's basically just asking how the writer uses language to achieve effects. Honestly, it's such an easy entry point to pick up 8 marks by exploring 2 or 3 detailed language choices. It just gets your analytical brain firing on all cylinders. Next up is section 4, step 3, high-value reading. Since your brain is properly warmed up and tuned into the text now, we're actually going to leapfrog right over question 3. Question 4 is worth a hefty 20 marks. Aside from the creative writing, this is the highest value question on the entire paper. It asks for your detailed evaluation. Basically, to what extent do you agree with a specific statement about the text? Because it carries so much weight, it's more than double the marks of the other reading questions, you have got to prioritize this over the tricky structural analysis of question 3. If you find yourself in an absolute timing emergency, like maybe you overwrote your question 5, question 4 is your safety net. Even if you're desperately running out of time, answering half of this 20-mark question by splitting the statement into two parts and just writing one solid paragraph is a total lifesaver. You will pick up way more marks doing half of question 4 than perfectly finishing all of question 3. Which brings us to section 5, step 4, the final sprint. This is the emergency sequence. You're mopping up the remaining marks as your clock rapidly runs down to 0. This fast-paced sequence ensures you maximize literally every single second. You've just safely secured question 4. So now, and only now, you loop back to attempt question 3, which is worth 8 marks and focuses on structure, which is often the one students find a bit trickier anyway. You do this knowing your big points are already banked, and that deliberately leaves the absolute easiest task for the very last minute. And that leaves us, finally, with question 1, worth just a mere 4 marks. Just picture this. You have exactly 1 minute left in the exam hall. The invigilator is pacing around. Your hand is cramping. This simple listing task, finding 4 true statements or pulling 4 distinct facts from a tiny little section of text, is exactly the question you want staring back at you. It requires almost zero deep thought or analysis to secure these points. It's essentially just a simple retrieval exercise. And look, an actual examiner's note proves exactly what we're talking about. Question 1 is practically designed as a psychological comfort blanket. It's just meant to ease you into the test. The exam board fully expects almost everyone to get these marks. So let's outsmart the test design, right? Let's use it tactically at the very end rather than wasting our absolute freshest, most creative energy on it at 9 a.m. So I'll leave you with this final thought to empower your next exam experience. When you walk into that hall, you are the one in control. Why sacrifice your overall grade by taking the test in the standard chronological order when you can execute this exam heist instead? Claim your 40-mark main event first. Warm up with question 2. Lock down the 20-mark behemoth of question 4 and casually mop up the rest as the clock runs out. Be tactical, protect your time, and absolutely maximize your marks.